The Self-Publishing Advice Conference, SelfPubCon 2025, brings indie authors from around the world together for 2 days of insight, inspiration, and connection. It's live online October 18 and 19 and free to attend. Get early access to our international competition and all the latest conference updates at selfpublishingadvice.org/conference-2025. Welcome to Self-Publishing with Ally, proudly sponsored by Publish Me, helping indie authors succeed globally with expert translation, tailored marketing, and publishing support. From first draft to international launch, Publish Me ensures your book reaches readers everywhere. Visit publishme.me. And now, here's your host for Self-Publishing with Ally, Dan Holloway.
Hello and welcome to the second self-publishing news podcast from the new Centre for the Humanities here in Oxford, where I am this week enjoying life without an office ceiling, as the inevitable new build snagging includes leaking ceilings. So that's the delights we bring you from here in Oxford. Meanwhile, in the news, the main news this week seems to be around bookshop.org, which features twice in my news columns over the past week. So bookshop.org, as you will know, is the platform that was started sort of just before COVID in very early 2020 as a way for people to buy books online from a centralized platform and benefit their local independent bookstore. It's one of those things that it had quite a mixed reception. People wondered quite whether it's going to work, quite how it was going to benefit bookstores, whether it would, but it has actually gone from success to success. And one of the reasons for that has obviously been the growth in popularity of supporting artisanal stores and crafts of all kinds. So it has really chimed with a movement towards buying local. But obviously we know that local bookshops you can't necessarily always buy what you want from their website. It can be very tricky. So this provides a way for you to do that as a reader and benefit the local bookstore. So anyway, for the first 4 and a bit years of bookshop.org's existence, you could only really buy physical books online. Then in January 2025, the platform announced that it was moving into ebooks. This was obviously a huge thing. It started with the US audience, and now this past week it has moved to the UK. So now, whether you're in the UK or the US, as a reader, you can buy ebooks online through bookshop.org and nominate an independent bookstore to benefit from that purchase. You don't have to. If you don't, then that slice of the sale, the ticket price, gets put into a centralised pot that is distributed amongst all stores who are participating in the bookshop.org scheme. So this is great news for people who want to support local bookshops and who buy ebooks. But it's also great news for indie authors because obviously we can distribute our books through our bookshop.org. We can do that with physical books through Ingram Spark and Gardeners, and a number of platforms that distribute widely their ebooks will do so to bookshop.org, including one of the largest platforms, which is Draft Digital. So that is a great way for indie authors and indie bookstores and customers who want to celebrate both the craftsperson and the local artisanal seller to do just that. And I said they were in the news twice this week. That is because bookshop.org is also one of the very first shortlistees for the Digital Publishing Awards. So the Digital Publishing Awards is a brand new set of awards. It's operated in conjunction with Publishing Perspectives. It's a largely European set of awards, and the winners will be announced at Frankfurt Book Fair on the 15th of October. And it has some very interesting categories around basically innovative digital projects and products. So it has a product category, a process category, a startup category, and a digital leadership category, which I'm itching to get my hands on the shortlist for, but they haven't announced it yet. It says on the website, which has updated actually since the last time I looked at it, the shortlist for this award will not be published. So I imagine that's one where they're going to announce the winner on the night to sort of add to the tension. Who knows who that might be? There are lots of potential candidates, including many in the indie sphere that I can think of. We have yet to see. But anyway, bookshop.org is one of the first to be nominated or shortlisted, and they're shortlisted in the technology category for their ebook platform, so specifically what we have just been talking about. So that's really great to see. Other big names that have been shortlisted include Storytel. It's always interesting looking at awards like this to get an idea of trends and what we should be expecting to see in the years to come. And great to see lots of emphasis on accessibility here. So we have, for example, something that's, I will name the positive contributions. I'll name people that I'm going to say good things about. I won't necessarily name, because I have got some caveats for this list. I won't name them because I haven't done the due diligence to do so. So I will refer to general points that are raised by their inclusion. So Circular Software, which advertises itself as a no-code accessibility for fixed layout EPUB. Well, that's what the awards are calling them. So basically, this is a platform that will enable people to produce through InDesign, which is something a lot of indies use. EPUB format books that are certainly fully compliant with the European Accessibility Act, which is something that we are all very much aware of because anyone who sells into Europe has to comply with it. So this is a no-code tool for ensuring your EPUB books are compliant, which is going to be very useful, especially for those of us who sell direct from our website, send ebooks to people directly, and so on. There are some other great accessibility things going on. So there's Ikataboo, which is it's a platform that distributes short stories, children's stories, using or accompanied by Kenyan Sign Language, which is a really fabulous platform. There are inevitably quite a lot of AI firms on this list. Not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your view. But what is interesting is there are clearly tools that are aimed at indie authors. So editing or AI editing platforms, that is going to be controversial. It is, although inevitable that it is going to be the way that the industry is going in terms of offering tools to authors, and especially to indie authors who are on a lower budget. So we know that this is what happened with voice narration. It started out as being we know you can't all afford a voice actor, so this is a low budget alternative to help you exploit your rights more fully on a lower budget. It's very much the same sort of thing is going to be clearly happening with digital or AI editing, which is going to say you might not be able to afford a human editor. That's not the end of the world because we can provide an AI one for you at a fraction of the cost. Make of that as you will. There is inevitably going to be quite a lot of watchdogging to be done and due diligence to be done in ensuring, first of all, that this really is at a fraction of the price, but also on the quality, on how these AIs are trained, on what they do, all kinds of issues. Because wherever there is a new technology, there are new opportunities for creators, and there are far more than that, new opportunities for people to sell things to creators. This goes back, of course, at least as far as the saying that in a gold rush sell shovels. So there are basically going to be a lot of AI shovels around, just as there were with blockchain and so on, going all the way back, so say, to the gold rush. So yeah, so very interesting to see that there are some AI firms there in these shortlists, and some of them are clearly aimed straight at indie authors. So that is something that we are going to have to be aware of and keep our eye out on, and I no doubt will be reporting on. Going back to ebooks for the final story of the week, and that is that obviously it is Amazon Prime Week this week, and Amazon Prime Week is again a really good bellwether for trends that are coming, because I'm not necessarily suggesting that Amazon are great soothsayers, but they do set a lot of the trends. And last year, a lot of people's fears that Amazon were stepping back from ebooks were allayed by the introduction of the Kindle Colorsoft. And this year, there are at least 2 new models of Colorsoft or of Kindle. There is a new Kindle Scribe, and there is a Kindle Scribe Coloursoft, and these have various tools for note-taking that seem to be aimed at making it feel more like writing on paper. That's the way that the blurb I have seen puts it. We know that there is an increasing trend for people wanting digital tools that feel like paper. Personally, I use paper because that really feels like paper, but obviously it's great to see that there is still a growing market for e-readers and likely to be a market for e-readers for some time to come, because that shows that Amazon is clearly in the long game, or at least the medium game, when it comes to selling ebooks. Obviously, there are some AI tools. There are inevitably going to be some of those. Some of the really sort of science fiction-y ones of those include, from next year, you'll be able to not only have multiple notebooks in your Kindle, but you will be able to upload your notebooks to Alexa, and Alexa will then be able to have a conversation with you about your reading habits. So you'll have your own personalized AI club. As I say, make of that what you will. It is clear that Amazon is still in the game when it comes to ebooks, and that feels very much like it is a positive. And that's a fabulous note to end on. Always nice to end on a positive. So I very much look forward to speaking to you again this time next week, when we will be very, very, very close to Self-PubCon 2025, which I look forward to engaging with some of you at in the Ally panel session. So very much look forward to speaking to you again next week. In the meanwhile, take care. Have a lovely fall or spring hemisphere, depending.
You've been listening to Self-Publishing with Ally, proudly sponsored by PublishMe, helping indie authors succeed globally with expert translation, tailored marketing, and publishing support. From first draft to international launch, PublishMe ensures your book reaches readers everywhere. Visit publishme.me, and if you haven't already, we invite you to join our association and become a self-publishing ally. You can do that at allianceindependentauthors.org.